everybody. Welcome to Homemade God Studios. Homemade God Studios presents. Damn, it's been a week or two.
It's been a minute.
It has.
We had a nice little break.
We did. But we did have a nice little break. Had a baby born. Had a baby born. Had a granddaughter born.
The grandbaby.
By the time this airs, she'll be 3 years old.
We had a break so we could catch up on other work.
Yes, we to all those artists, I do want to apologize, and to you in case this doesn't go up as quick as we wanted to.
I know to get up there.
We do work a lot, and it just takes a minute to get everything up and going. But tonight we have Nakessa gracing our studios with her presence. My wife said, "Thank you so much. You're beautiful." Aww. She loved what you heard. My mom, I don't know if she said anything to you, but she loved it.
I'm glad.
She was so glad to be here and listen to you live. We had to take her out to a show sometime.
Hey, every Thursday I'm at the Rum Room in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I was telling her I want to bring Lavengers back for their Nashville show, like venue show, and like have them.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. That would be a good little set.
I don't know who would be a third to fill out the bill because ain't nobody got vibes like these two projects.
Yeah. J Ammo maybe.
Maybe. It's a different kind of vibe.
It is, but yeah. It's a hard one to try and figure out, but them two, her and Lavengers, that would be a good show right there. Definitely. Good fucking show.
Singing for justice. No.
Basically, shout out to Lavengers. I just heard from Miles today. Hi, Miles. And speaking of, episodes you're going to probably have like a few more birthdays by the time this airs. But yesterday was Johnny's birthday.
Oh, yeah. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Didn't tell Nan. One of us just showed up to a show with his wife all prettied up, and we're like, what in the...
What are you doing here?
Celebrating my birthday.
Well, come out and celebrate my birthday for once. I don't get to do it. Don't get to pick where I want to go. I don't really think of it half the time, but it's just how I am. But we're not here to celebrate my birthday. We're here for the beautiful Nakessa.
We are here to celebrate his birthday.
We're happy that you're here, still really circling the sun with us, because this would not be here without you.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
How you been doing lately?
I've been okay. I've been busy as hell, honestly. I've been gigging more. Like I said, we just got the residency over at the Rum Room, which is this nice, quaint, cute little club above Rhythm and Spice in Nashville. They've got fantastic Caribbean food, and we provide the music on Thursdays, every Thursday from 8 to 11. So I've been doing that, and then just random shows here and there. I'm supposed to be singing with the Jimmy Church Band tomorrow.
Awesome.
Which will be fun. In Leachfield, Kentucky, I think.
Leachfield?
Yeah.
I think you said it right. One of us said it right.
They had it spelled 2 different ways on Google, so I don't
know. They do.
So I don't know.
Let's hope it's not 2 different towns. End up in the wrong one.
I end up in the wrong place. Yeah, but I've been good. Been working on music and meeting people and just living the life that I want to live, or at least trying to every day to live the life that I want to live and not force myself into just humdrum, ho-hum, everyday life that sucks. Yeah. I want to live a life that I enjoy, and so far I've been enjoying a lot.
We wish many more blessed gigs upon you.
Yeah, I take that.
Yes, we do.
So we, before we set up, obviously, like we've said it before, it tends to be kind of a party before we actually start recording. There's always conversation going on before we even jump into the conversation, before we ever make it to here at the table with the cameras on. We're always talking about some stuff. But as far as just being out here living your best life, just some of the things we talked about earlier, I want to kind of make sure we squeeze into the recorded portion of this evening. But we were definitely talking about vibes, and we had a little conversation about personal power and program thing. We were talking about meditation. So clearly, you know, you're talking about your gigs and then talking about being out here living the life that you want to live. So explain to the people like what that means for you. How are those two things related? Like, why is being out here gigging directly connected to you feeling like you're living the happiest life you can?
Well, something that I learned very recently, and I was telling my sister about it on the way over here, is I heard somebody say in a YouTube video that they had heard from somebody else, and the words, they really stuck with me because I think they resonate with where I am now. And it basically says that if you have 100 things that you desire to have and you're trying to manifest those things, if you find one thing that brings you joy and comes easy to you and makes you happy, then just engulfing yourself and wrapping yourself in that one thing, it allows room for those other 100 things to manifest themselves.
It does.
And so it's like with me being out here doing music is the thing that it comes naturally to me. It comes easy to me, and I love to do it. I love to sing. I love to write music. It's just amazing to me. And so all of that positivity that comes with that has just opened doors for more positivity and has brought people into my life who help open more doors for more positivity. And I'm just grateful every single day, because it's like I went literally from a point of I was crying to my sister on the phone every damn day about something that was making me miserable and something that was making me sad and how I felt trapped and caged in and all of these things, to now I feel freer every single day. And it just keeps coming. Positivity breeds more positivity, and happiness breeds more happiness. And I'm just finding more things just to be happy about in general. And that's it's just wild. It's crazy to me, you know. Like, you ask for it, but then when you start to get it, you're like, wow, this is crazy. This is amazing. Why was I not here before? Why did it take so long for me to get here? And it's just been so pleasant. It's been so beautiful journey. And I'm looking forward to whatever else is coming next.
Manifest it.
Yes, there you go. Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love about like the people that I get to work with personally in music. Like, we were all, you know, in the same circles together years ago, but just like as people, you kind of see like the wheat being separated from the chaff. Like the people who have like followed their hearts and have tapped in, like found that thing, found what's for them. Like they keep like just like their, how do I say it? Their path gets more and more focused.
Yes.
And so like you kind of meet them down the road because they like, you know, they tapped into what was truly them and what truly made them happy. And so like you keep bumping into the same people, and sometimes over time like the circle gets smaller. We were talking about this last night at the show.
Yeah.
The circle may get smaller, but like the opportunities and then the pathways to even more genuine, more resonant connections with other people doing the same thing, those become bigger at the same time. So you never really feel like you're losing anything or losing anyone. It's just, if you can tap into what's yours, what like truly belongs to you, what really makes you happy, like things will just fall away and you can focus on it and be miserable about it. But ultimately what happens is it just like, now that you're on a specific path, only things that fit that path can come in. And the more you get that feedback of like, okay, yes, this is for you. Yes, this is for you. Then it's like, oh, well, I can just want to spread my wings even bigger. What else can I do? What else is for me? Yeah, it's really cool to see all y'all doing your thing. But you especially, because like I said earlier, you got the vibes.
You got it.
For days.
You do.
I try my best. You know, I try my best.
Where do the vibes come from?
Honestly, it's just like it's an internal thing. I find that a lot of the times the music that I sing is things that speak to me personally, because we're
Clearly.
all people, and we're all people. We all go through all types of stuff, and it's like, instead of being in an immature mindset of, fuck you, mom, you don't know what I'm going through, nobody knows what I'm going through, nobody will ever understand. It's like, we're all experiencing the same things.
Yeah.
We may be experiencing them in mildly different ways. We're all experiencing the same thing. And it's just like, I know that this is something I needed to hear. And maybe somebody else needs to hear it too. It's a strong possibility that you got frustrated with something that didn't go your way today at work, and you need to remember that you have grace and that you don't have to force yourself into these imaginary deadlines, that your life goes on regardless.
Yeah.
It goes on either way, whether you have the job, whether you don't have the job, whether you living in a house or an apartment or your car or a tent in the woods. Life continues on regardless. So it doesn't make sense to waste time stressed out,
Yeah.
balding,
Worrying
running
so much,
yourself
yeah.
ragged, right? Worrying
Yeah,
so
worrying
much.
so much
Just,
about it. I quit doing that a long time ago. And after I did, I met my wife. I mean, and I was struggling, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I met my wife, and since that, things just got better. And even when we're struggling and she's worrying, I'm like, don't worry, just trust me. We'll always make it through. It's like when this was getting built, we didn't have a lot of money, and of course the price of wood was going up every single day. And I was like, I'll find a way. I'll find a way to do it. Got us where we're at.
and
You
did a
gotta
good
be
job.
so committed to like. I wish like I could wave a magic wand and just get people to see. But also, I'm sure everybody in this room knows what it's like to have been at some point in your life where you didn't recognize how much self-empowerment there is and really truly just pursuing the things that make you happy, especially like as a single mom growing up in corporate America and like working in offices my whole life. Like you're told this is what you need to do, this is what makes you valuable. I had a mental breakdown one day and I was in my apartment just looking around and just crying and laughing like none of this is real, none of this is me. This whole life that I built up, it has nothing to do with me. It's what everybody else told me I should want, but I don't want any of this. I don't want none of this. I don't want this job, this good job. I don't want to be the good mom. Like I want to leave the dishes in the sink sometimes. Like I don't want none of, but like if you can like get to what makes you happy and really like fine tune that, and you get the singular things, those really fine things that are just uniquely you, then that just explodes into all this freedom. And in that freedom, now you're making different decisions. Now, instead of like, oh, I need to pick this job because it is the good job, or oh, I do need to stick it out in this relationship because I'm so blessed to have this shitty dude.
That's the part.
Now you can say, but I can have whatever I want. I've already shown myself I can focus and put my attention on whatever I want, and that's going to work out so much better than anything else they do. So it gets easier to say bye to the shit that bothers you. So there's just like naturally, there's just this organic process of just like your life morphing into a whole bunch of unbothered.
Yeah, because you're stepping from a place of fear into a place of faith. Because you go from being afraid, oh, well, if I don't have a job, I'm not going to, how am I going to
make it, yeah.
If I don't have this, how am I going to? And then when you start to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to. I'm going to do what makes me happy. And then you start to understand, you really have faith in understanding it'll be fine. It's going to work out. And it always does. It always does. Like, my daddy always says, the worst thing that can happen is that you die. And if that happens, then your problem is solved anyway. So
ain't that the truth?
It's really moving into a space of understanding that whatever you call it, God always takes care of you. He always provides for you. You just have to understand that having faith in God is one of the hardest things to do. Having faith in that inner being, having faith in that thing that connects us all is the hardest thing to do, because we're always so worried about the outside, where people have said, oh, if you don't have no money, you're not going to make it. Oh, if you don't got this good job, you're not going to make it. Oh, your car break down, you're not going to get to go, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is that somehow the rent always gets paid. Somehow you always make it to where you're supposed to go. Somehow there's always food in the fridge. Somebody's always there to watch your kids. Whatever the case may be, you're always provided for. But we're so caught up in going and going and going and going that you don't sit and think, damn, God, you really took care of me.
Yeah.
You really took care of me. I'm really good out here. Like, I don't have to worry about it. I can really do what I want to and actually enjoy my life and know that you'll take care of me, instead of trying to work against the grain and work so hard to take care of everything myself. Because there's some things that you're forced into. I've done everything that I can do. I don't know what else to do. and somehow it works out. You know?
Surrender and you figure it out. 90% of the time, it comes to you.
Yeah.
I know the only times, like, obviously as a single mother, you know, I'd be struggling. But, like, back in the day when something bad would happen, it'd be like, like, literally, you know, when you say, like, it always gets taken care of or you're always taken care of, the times when things, like, weren't taken care of, I can look back now and see, like, compared to how I live my life now, 100% those things absolutely would have been taken care of if I wasn't so busy in the struggle. If I had surrendered and just relaxed, I would have been able to tap into my resources and the people around me, tap into my own energetic resources. I would have had a little bit more brain power to think things through a little bit, or just slow down and stop thinking about all these different things and focus on, you know, what I can do right now. And that would have led me on such a better path. But, like, it's an evolution that you have to, like, somehow find your way into if you don't have anybody out there teaching you. But to bring this all back around, what I really like about you is you're doing... Anybody can be out here singing the same old songs, and we say controversial shit on this show sometimes.
Do we really?
Black music in Nashville. There are a handful of y'all that are superstars, but the rest of y'all doing the same shit your neighbor is doing. There's something so magical about when you write a song that is uniquely from your perspective. You're not writing it from a point of view of, like, oh, I need people to relate to this. You're writing it from, this is my story. And because it's so authentic, people can catch on to that vibe and be opened up by it. So even though your specific story that you're spelling out in your song, even if that's not a story that they relate to, because of how you told your own story, they recognize that feeling.
And somebody will relate to it. The thing is, like, I think they get captured in, I need this specific audience to relate to it. The thing is, if you tell your story, somebody else is like, you know what, I had that same thing happen to me. And then that's what it is, but it may not be the audience that they're looking for to relate. And then you can't force nobody to relate to you.
No, you really can't.
do that.
You just, they either do or they don't.
Yeah, you can't force nobody to relate
I
to
think there's something that just becomes so open about, like, when you are telling a specific story, or, like, even, that last song, Grace.
Yes.
So, like, that's a song that anybody can take in. But even just the way you chose to, like, just the fact that you chose to focus on grace, it seems like so uniquely you that I could just see people listen to that song. And, like, there are songs about positivity. There are songs about, you know, just believing and having faith and, like, you know, taking it easy on yourself and all that stuff. But you are specifically, like, almost like chanting the word grace. You're, like, putting that, like, driving that home. Grace, grace, grace. Like, how many people make that word the focus of a song?
Not many.
It might appear in a verse, but like, just
it's not.
Just that perspective on that song, like, people who don't even really know what the word grace means or thinks it's just like a religious word that you use for, like.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's
No.
not. And I think I told my sister this years ago when she was living with me, because her name means the grace of God is promised. And I was at home and I just got smacked with these tears. I'm like, oh my God, this is what you need to hear. And the thing is that grace has two meanings. There's the fact of, you know, grace, allowing yourself time and allowing yourself space and allowing yourself the room to understand that things will get done in that time. But you don't have to force yourself to the end right away. You can take your time. You can enjoy the journey. You know, you enjoy the moments that are difficult and the moments that are not so fun, because those are the things that shape you to be the person at the end of it to hold that blessing that you asked for.
Yep.
But also
Beautifully said.
to be graced. To be graced is to be blessed with something, is to be adorned with something. And a lot of us are graced with whatever our skill, our talent, our thing is, whether it be just simply having the capability of coming into a room and calming it, or just saying something random to a stranger and then feeling you are graced with a power and a energy to connect. We're graced with that to connect with one another. And connection is most key because when you talk to people, you gain another perspective. Something that you may have been like, oh, well, I didn't think about it like that. That's different. That helps me to not be so frazzled and balled up and all of that. So it's understanding both sides of that. Understanding that you have grace and that you are graced. That you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You have what you need and you have the time that you need. That's what it is.
Such a beautiful song. All your songs are so beautiful.
Aren't they? Everything she does.
I heard Johnny over here singing them.
Well, I know them. I mean, I've listened to
You
them.
should know
I've jammed
by
out to
now.
them.
Yeah.
I've listened to them at work, on my way to work sometimes. I mean, it's one thing about this being what it is some people don't realize I do listen to the artists a lot more. Sometimes before
some
they
other
come
folks
in.
don't.
Yeah, before they come in, I'll listen to them, and sometimes I don't get to, and after they're here, I'll listen to their jams for at least a week before I'll stop. And then, like, even though I've heard everything you've got on my streaming service I use, I'll go back and listen to it again. And what's awesome about it is the streaming service I use, when it's done playing yours, it'll play a lot of similar stuff. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it throws in an artist I've never heard of, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. And it's just great. I love it. So, yeah, I do listen to everybody that's been on this show at least a
And it's
week.
just, like, that just speaks to me, to, like, anybody could look at you and think you would definitely not be listening to her.
Trust me, you're right, because I've done it at work where I used to drive around work on a floor scrubber, and I'd have my little tablet there that they let me use, and I would be streaming music on it, and she would be on there, and people would drive up to me, and they'll be like, ooh, what? But, I mean, there were times Autumn Lies Buried was on there, and people were like, wait a minute. The other day you were listening to this smooth, awesome voice, wonderful thing. Now you're listening to what's this? And it's like, that's Autumn's Lie Buried, or Jawfain, or anybody that's been here. I've listened to them, and I do get that. People are like, especially when it's your type of music, when it's a jazz singer, nobody expects that. Nobody. And I've played Frank Sinatra in here before and had the kids come in going, what is that?
What is that?
They've never heard it. And I'm like, it's Frank. Just listen for a minute.
But that's the great thing about music too, is that music is sound, is vibration. It's one thing that regardless to what language you speak, what color you are, whatever, music touches.
Music touches.
It touches.
It does.
It doesn't matter what kind of music it is. It can be metal music. It can be old school country music. Whatever it is, it touches in a way. And I really hate that people have put like an aesthetic to each type of music.
Yeah, I don't.
It's the whole, hip hop looks like this and country looks like this and all this and that.
No.
Because then it makes people look at you crazy when you're like, you listening to this? Why are you listening to this? What does it matter to you? This song speaks to me and I like it. Period.
Back when I was a kid, because like I've said many times before, music is what's kept me alive because of the therapeutic things about it and everything. Me and my daughter had a discussion today about losing sight or hearing, and both of us are like, we'd rather lose sight, and both of us at the same time, because we would miss music. And though you can still hear music and feel it when you're deaf, I want to hear all of it. But back when I was a kid, one time I was listening to old Beastie Boys. When I moved to Tennessee, I was listening to Beastie Boys and old Run DMC. And this kid comes up to me, he's older than me, he's like, why are you listening to that? That's old. I'm like, and? Who cares if it's old? It's still good stuff. And they're like, no, you need to listen to something new. I'm like, no. And that was before I even started listening to heavy metal. When I got into heavy metal, I dove right in it and found all kinds of things that I never heard. Loved it. And people are like, why are you listening to that? That's not something you used to listen to before. I'm like, why should I stick with just this when there's this and there's this? And grew up listening to country and blues, but mostly the country, the Western country at that. knew a lot of that and was like, still love it now. But people were surprised that I even know it sometimes. They're like, how do you know that? I'm like, my dad's played it. My father's played it. Uncle's played it. Listening to mariachi music. Sitting there knowing the songs sometimes. And they're like, how do you know that?
There are some
around it.
classic Spanish dance songs that you'll hear in like a Mexican restaurant. I'm sure you do it too. You'll be like singing along or at least catching the melody. Like, oh yeah, I remember this from growing up.
Yep,
there's like 4,700 versions of this song out there, and people are like, how do you? Because to them, it's just some randoms. They don't know like these traditional like. Not traditional, but like
these old those songs have been redone so many times,
and like
in
it's
different ways. Just like La Bamba,
yeah.
the way it became popular was Richie Valens'
Everyone's
rock and
heard
roll
that,
version.
yeah.
Everybody knows that version. You hear that live at like every country place you go to. If it's requested, you hear Ricky Valens' version. But if you ever hear the traditional version, you'd be surprised. It's great. I love the traditional version. Amazing.
But you wouldn't, like even a lot of Spanish kids, like I'm not talking about like, when I say kids, I'm normally talking about like us 30, 40, and 50-year-olds.
Y'all are kids to me.
Listen, I'm going to be a kid when I'm 9. I can't wait to be
I'm
97 because I'm going to feel the youngest I've ever felt in my life.
I'm 7 and I had a birthday yesterday.
Listen, if you're feeling like that sometimes, especially hanging
I
out with
do.
you and Joffrey together. We're all like 5.
5, 6, and 7.
But like you grow up kind of like in this restrictive, and for me, like it was a unique experience. I'm kind of grateful for it, though it was weird growing up and experiencing it. It was the perfect setup for everything that I do now. But like the younger kids, Spanish kids, they know like the radio reggaeton. I don't even know if they call it that anymore. I'm not even sure I've heard that word recently, but like
they do still call it. I mean, as far as musicians, they still call it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the
but like Bad Bunny is like a huge chart topper, and like they like these younger kids, they don't know like the traditional songs.
No.
They, it's strange. It's restrictive in a way, but also like on the flip side of that, because music is so widely available and so easy to access nowadays, you do also have the even younger kids, so not like the teenage kids, but the really young kids who are out there on Spotify and Apple Music just listening to whatever
Or
and letting
YouTube.
suggestions come up. And these kids are coming out listening to like classic rock and like Black Families. Like no one would have introduced them to this music, but because you are free, and if you want to take advantage of that and you don't feel restricted, like I have to listen to this music because my friends do, or I have to listen to this because it's what's hot right now, or this is what's played in the clubs right now, you open yourself up to finding not just artists or genres, but like specific songs, specific vibes. Like maybe it's not necessarily that rock is your thing, but you love a good syncopated beat. So maybe you grew up only hearing it in rock, but then you turn around and listen to like some of that new, like the new soul shit. And you get like, it's getting more, not glitchy, maybe in a way, some of it. But you get like these elements, then you realize it's not the genre you loved, it's those things that make you feel those ways. And you can like find it in anything. So God bless the children. They're leading the way with just like getting rid of, I would like to see genres be gone in the same way Pandora will tell you like, oh, this song has, I don't know what words I haven't used Pandora in so long, but it would say like, it has syncopated beats, it has, an irregular time signature or whatever, like things like that. It has minor chords, whatever it is. It would tell you the elements of the song. And then you would get songs based like on those similar, like the similar makeup rather than the genre or the artist. But
I never got that far into Pandora. I never knew it did that. That's awesome.
Well, see, I don't know if they do it now, because from what I've heard of Pandora now, it sounds like it's very different than it used to be. But back in the day, like a long time ago, that was one of the things I really liked, because it'd be like this song, like the same way Netflix will say this show is gritty and visceral and whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
It would do that for songs, and so I'd be like,
to that.
oh,
I never
that
paid
is
attention
what I
to
like
that.
about that song. And so I would skip through songs until those, like the words that I now have the vocab to describe like what I liked about certain songs. I would just skip through until I saw those words come up again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it would put me all over the genre map. But like, I really think that as long as we have artists like you And especially as you get to grow and morph and expand and work with different producers and like really hone in your music and make it sound and feel exactly how you want it to at every turn. I think those kinds of things that artists are doing right now, the ones that who have discovered themselves and probably spent 2020 alone and depressed and writing all the beautiful music that we get to listen to now.
Yeah.
I think those artists like you are the ones that are kind of being the light for all that, because like who you are is going to come out in all of your music. You can have
Yep.
this song, you know, about the shitty boyfriend, but then you can have this song about Grace. It's still the same person, and so you have to force people to break down the, oh, I'm listening to an artist that's always talking about their ex.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I'm listening to an artist that's always got something positive to say, doesn't cuss, you know, whatever. Now you got to mash those two together, and you have to kind of break down the barriers in your brain to be able to like figure out, why do you appreciate both of them songs? It's because of the source of the vibrations. It's the same person putting out both of those. So it can be just a very uplifting song, or it can be a screw that dude song. But it's gonna have those same like healing properties, because that person who's giving it to you healed themselves. So in every message that they're putting out there, no matter which direction they point it, it's still coming from this place of like this openness, this invitation to also like heal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the most successful artists, even though they have teams of writers, but this is probably one of the reasons why they're most successful, is because they are relatable to a wide group of people. Because when you have songs that are different from one another, your life is not the same every day. You don't go through the same struggles every day, and your music reflects that as a person. My music reflects me as a person. Yes, I've had shitty exes. Yes, I've had beautiful, wonderful days. I've had terrible days. But that's just a part of life. And my music, it represents life. And I think that people more so enjoy that, because it's like, oh, okay, you live too.
Yeah.
Yeah. we all
live. Yeah.
We all live. We're just people. We're living day to day, trying to make it and trying to just get through our existence however we know how, until we don't have to go through the tough, extra super tough times anymore, to more beautiful sunny times and white sand beaches and yachts and all of that. But even then, you still live life, and you still had to live life to get there, and you're going to have to live life to get on to the other side of it. And I think that's important, instead of just showcasing like, oh yes, I'm like this all of the time, only like this all of the time. I never struggle, or I'm never happy. I'm always singing about my same ex that has just done me wrong over and over and over again. And I keep singing about going back to him over and over and over again, because I love toxicity. Like this, no, you have to show elevation, and you have to show growth, and you have to show transformation, because
You could
that's
still
what life
sing
is
about that stuff
Yeah.
and still make it an experience, still make it beautiful. And
I think you can tell the people who have done their work, looking at you, Nashville hip hop, but like the people who do that same old, like, I'm going to keep, you know, this is my theme as an artist. I think you can tell the difference, because even if a different artist talks about those same themes, the ones that have done their work and really know who they are, their perspective on that theme is so different and so much more engaging, because it's rich and full of actual life, and not just like, here's my structure of all the key points I got to hit in this song to make sure I keep, you know, running the same line. I appreciate that so much about you. I love like the storytelling that you did for this one.
Yes, I did
So
too.
something that like I get on bands about is like, give people, like, let people know when the song's over and give them time to applaud, because sometimes we be confused and then you don't get the applause and the energy's weird. But the way you did it, because it was this like this story, you actually like, it's such a perfect structure for like, yeah, it was so good, because you get like, it's so clear, like this is an evolution, this is a full, like these are all these different points, completely different viewpoints on all these songs, but they're all part of this same journey. And you talked about like that transformation from getting to where you are healed, like that, like Grace.
Yes.
My new favorite.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that came from like because growing up, we weren't really allowed to listen to a lot of secular music until our oldest brother brought it home from school, and there was nothing. At that point, there's nothing you can do. But before we listened to a lot of gospel and neo soul and just stuff like that. So I can't remember which artist it was that I listened to the most, but my parents played, like my mom, she loved Kim and Maxwell and Lauryn Hill. So
Lauryn Hill.
I feel like that storytelling comes from listening to stuff like that. D'Angelo. God, love D'Angelo.
I know D'Angelo
but
also.
D'Angelo and exactly D'Angelo and Lauryn Hill, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. It was continuous. It was a story just the same way.
Yes.
The Voodoo album by D'Angelo, it was a story. Whether
It
you're
was.
paying attention or not, it was a story. It was
way
continuous the
through.
whole way. And I think that for me, I'm like, oh, well, this is what albums need to be. Your songs need, if you're doing a cohesive piece of work, or body of work, as they say, if you're doing a body of work, a complete cohesive piece, then all of the songs should be able to tie into one another. And I've even written like that when I write my poetry, when I write stories. I had a teacher once, he was all like, I always like that you managed to pull everything back to a positive point. And I'm like, because it's necessary.
Yeah.
I don't believe in leaving things messy and undone, because at some point things will work out and they will solve themselves, and the loose ends are now tied up and things come together in a positive place. That's always where we want to be at the end of it. Anybody, if you think about it, that's always where we want to be. We want to be in a positive place at the end of the day. Nobody wants to just wakes up and like, you know what, I want to go through hell today. Like, nobody does that.
I do every once in a while. but
Convinced
just like,
I'm
I mean,
convinced some people do.
Usually on a
know
Tuesday
what?
is my day.
I just want to go through hell for the rest of my life. Yep,
No,
that sounds like a perfect. Nobody does that. Nobody says that.
That sounds like a Trump supporter to me. I mean, honestly.
But even them, if they paid attention, if we all paid attention, the thing is that everybody wants to have those things that they desire at the end of it all. Now, if going through hell is that thing that you desire, then by all means, okay, yeah, you wake up and say, I want to go through hell for the rest of my life. But for the most part, people are like, I just want to be in a place where my family is taken care of.
Yeah.
And my kids don't have to worry, and my grandkids don't have to worry, and they can live the life they want to live. And I don't have to stress myself with all of this extra stuff. I can just be myself, and people around me can be themselves, and we can go to the beach and run and play and spend time with one another and just be happy. And that's the positive point most of the time people want to end on. Nobody's just like, you know what? Fuck it. We just gonna go to jail. We gonna go to it doesn't matter. We gonna sell drugs and go to prison. That's it. Like, even drug dealers, I'm selling these drugs so that my mama doesn't have to work, so that I can buy her a house, so I can take care of my kids. It's always
I knew those
the
drug
same
dealers.
thing.
Yeah,
I
knew
know
those,
some
yeah.
now. Like, it's
I do too. But
the
it's
same thing though.
Yeah.
And if
Everybody
you think
wants
about
peace and
it,
security.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, though.
Exactly. So that's what it is. I don't believe in leaving things a mess, because I know they're not always going to be a mess. It's not always going to be. It's a mess right now. It might be a big mess right now. But if you clean things up one thing at a time, you work on things one thing at a time, you find that one is easier to clean, it's easier to kind of organize where you're going, and you start to get a clearer vision of, oh, okay, I can really do this. I can really make it to this goal that I've set. I can really achieve the things that people told me that I wasn't able to achieve. And it's just like, I think back to being a little girl, and my sister, who is behind the camera, can attest to this. Our daddy used to say, if you clean that room, you'll find it. We go, Daddy, I can't find my...
I say that now.
Exactly.
I got grandkids, I say that too.
But it works in life too.
It does.
Your body is your room. Your space is your room. And when you are looking for answers, when you are confused and you don't know where to go, if you clean that room, you'll find it. Guaranteed.
Yep.
And as soon as you start cleaning, you find what you was looking for. You find stuff you didn't know you were looking for. Mm-hmm. You find all types of things. And so that's the thing. That's the saying I live by. If you clean that room, you will find it.
It's so funny because, like, as a parent, we know, like, when your kids clean that room and then they'll come out with a toy, like, oh, look at, remember this? We thought
Yeah.
they were crying over it 6 months ago because they thought you threw it away, but they cleaned
I
the
usually
room.
told mine I did throw it away
Something
because I
else
knew
in
it
the
was in the
trash.
room. Yeah, it's in the trash.
And just forget about it. Then they clean the room and like,
They
oh,
find
well,
it.
I got it back now. I can enjoy this. But like, it's such a perfect illustration because I used to be very religious. I'm not now, but like my sense of spirituality is a lot bigger than what I feel the religion I was in could have
Yeah.
given me. But there were some things that like I became religious because they just made so much sense, and I finally had someone showing me in the scriptures that I wasn't wrong for feeling these ways. But one of the things was like about just your inner spirit, your mind being a temple for like the angels or for God to dwell in. Like you have to keep that shit clean if you want like that kind of connection. And so coming out of the religion, that idea just kind of expanded for me because now when you even mentioned your body, which made me very happy because a lot of people don't realize how much of their room can be cleaned by just actually taking care of the physical temple. Forget like before you even get to the mental, and it helps the mental and the spiritual stuff. It like it's the first like it's the 3D stuff that we have to deal with every day. And so like not even taking care of like the physical temple makes it that much harder to get into the deeper things below the skin, like the soul and the mind. But yeah, like it's so beautiful what you said. So can you like give the people, as somebody who knows how important it is to keep your room clean, like what are some ways that you, especially as an artist, because we have a lot of artist audience members, like how do you keep all the dimensions of the temple clean?
Well, first and foremost, and I'm going to look smack into the camera. Moisturize your skin and drink water.
Yes.
Okay? A lot of people be out here. Coke has water. No, it doesn't.
it don't.
Drink water.
Drink water.
Drink the
I used to be
water.
the Coke has it, but then I got sick and was like, no more Coke for me.
That's a
Nope.
drink the water and moisturize your skin. But also, personally, I'm one of those people that I like order, I like organization. So when things in my home are disorganized or a mess, I start going crazy. And I had to realize that I had to pause for a second and be like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I can't stress myself about this corner of this sheet being slightly askew. That I can't worry about the little tiny minuscule things because they're not as important as just taking the time out and not saying anything, not looking at anything, not thinking about anything, sometimes just sitting there and not doing anything. Because when you slow yourself down, and a lot of us have problems with this, especially as artists, because our minds are doing 150 things at one time. Ooh, I can do this. Ooh, we can do a rendition of this. We can play this like this. We can do this like this. We can do this. And the thing is, when you're just sitting here, you start to get antsy and you start to get anxious because now you're thinking, I could do this, I could be doing that, I could be doing that. And the thing is trying to really take the time and be present and understand that right now, I'm not doing shit. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to drink my water, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to pick nothing up, I'm not going to look at my phone, I'm just going to sit here for a moment. Because moments of silence are very important. They're very important in all ways, because a lot of times we find ourselves talking just to hear ourselves talk. Talking just to make noise, talking so we don't have to think about things that are in the back of our minds. But when we sit and we're quiet, we have to hear what's going on inside of our head and not what's going on outside of it. And a lot of the times you learn that our mind isn't always a happy place to be. But you should try your best every single day to make your mind the happiest place that it can ever be, because that's the thing that you carry with you every day. You are with you every day. No matter where you go, guess who's there? You. Mm-hmm. So it's important to make your mind the happiest place that you can be. Eat lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, taking care of your physical body, also making sure you get enough sleep.
That's the hard part.
That's the hardest part.
In life.
I'm still struggling myself, but taking the time to get enough sleep, writing down your thoughts when you don't have someone to talk to, and talking to somebody when you feel like you need to. It is okay to cry if you need to cry. Men included. It is okay to cry if you need to cry, because tears and crying is your body's response to releasing emotion and releasing things that are bottled up. Whether they be good emotions or bad emotions, it helps to cry, because sometimes you just feel better afterwards, and that's okay. And you shouldn't beat yourself up for, oh, I'm always crying. Well, you just got a lot of stuff to work out right now. You'll be all right in a minute. Just take the time and let it go, and cry, and let that be. And then journaling, of course, writing your thoughts down, because it helps to see, at least for me, it helps me to see things. I went back and I read one of my journals from when I was in high school, and I was like, why was I like that? Ew. Why was I like that? Oh my God. I was so angry and bitter and just sad all the time. What was going on? Oh my Lord. But as an adult, I look back and it's like, parents and older people will tell you, oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it then. Just, it'll be fine. And as a teenager, you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And then as an adult, I go back and look at it. I'm like, why was I stressed about that? It was fine after that. We were okay. It was fine.
I try to do that with my granddaughter. She's the oldest one. The oldest one is the granddaughter. And sometimes I got to tell her, calm down. It's all right.
Just breathe for a second.
She's learned.
Breathe.
Now the grandson, he's having a hard time learning that.
I think it might be a different thing with boys, because the
It
way
is.
I
It
always
really
raised
is.
Jay, well, not always, because there was a time when it was very much like, why are you crying? Like, calm down. It's fine. You're going to whatever.
Yeah.
But now that I've learned some things about myself with him, I just tell him flat out, like, I just remind him, like, everything at school right now, especially, that's where, all the kids'
That's where all the
problems come.
Yeah, it's usually from
Everything
school.
in
It's usually
school,
some
right?
other kid that's
Always.
It seems
That's an
so
asshole.
important. And, like,
Yeah.
I get to be an example of this, though. This is what I get to talk to him like this as a parent. I don't think every parent could do this with their kids. But I get to be a living example of, like, your life starts after high school. Like, high school, while you're in school, these 12 years, and then if you decide to go to college, it'll be a little bit less restrictive, but in some ways much more restrictive. Like, you feel while you're in it like that's your whole life, but
It's not.
you get to have so much more fun while you're out of that, when you're out of that. And if you have a bunch of shitty schoolmates that, like, over the course of your schooling, like, you've just dealt with the same crappy people and the same problems and the same bullying and whatever, understand those people are very unlike, it's incredible. Only if you like them would they even have a remote shot at becoming part of your life 40 years down the road.
Yeah.
And if you do this life right, and this is where I get to say this to my kid and, like, be 100% authentic about it, which again, I don't think all parents can do, but hopefully conversations like this will keep sparking ideas and we can all, like, live our lives a little bit better. But I get to prove to him just the way I live my life. Like, you really have the freedom to do whatever you want. You can pursue whatever dreams you want. You will find resources in places you never would have dreamed of. If you keep doing what you're interested in, all those friends that just don't vibe with you or bully you for it, like, they won't even matter, because you would have met the people doing the same things that you want to do in the exact places you have to be to go do those things. So whatever you're going through right now, go ahead and feel it, but, like, really be thinking about, well, what does this make you want for your life? Because after school, you will never have to deal with this ever again. So, like, I definitely had people saying, like, it's going to be fine, everything's going to work out. But when you're a kid, I don't think, like,
They don't get it.
yeah, there's no way to get it, because you don't
Really, you
understand
don't
that there's
understand
life
it.
outside of, like, the only life you know is this, like, being told what to do. Like, you have to be here
Yeah.
at this time. You have to have this for dinner. You have to, follow these rules at home. You have to follow these rules at school. I think, like, so many adults are still carrying that with them. So when they go through the hard times, they can't acknowledge it. And I have this problem sometimes too. I'll be like, I need to stop feeling this way. I need to calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Why can't I calm down? I need to stop crying. But then I remember, like, oh, this is part of that journey, though. Like, let me go ahead and cry this out right now. There have been times, like, now I'm a master at this. When I'm feeling some type of way and I catch myself in that loop of, like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, I'm going to rise above this. Nah, bitch. No one else is going to feel sorry for you right now. You stay home this weekend and you throw a big-ass pity party for yourself. What's going to make you feel better? Because you were done wrong, and we're going to feel shitty about this. But then because you give it that space to like just come out, the crying happens a lot quicker. The bounce back happens so much quicker. You really are taking all this energy that's choking you up in your chest, literally sometimes, and you're
Letting it out.
and then once it's gone, it's like a storm. It's like you're holding back a storm, but if you just let that storm pass instead of trickling through your fingers, like that whole storm gets to just boom, dump all its rain and then move the fuck on.
Yeah.
So I like, this is where I come back to the vibrations in the music, because it's that unspoken, like I'm giving you permission to feel this with me. So even if it's like in rock and roll, I'd be writing some very negative songs sometimes, very angry songs, and everyone like who's heard any of like the original stuff, like at the last 13 Spiders show, our last song was an original that I wrote, very angry, very like not me, but people like, oh, you're such a nice person and you have so much, like you're bubbly and like happy all the time. Where did that song come from? It's like, no, that's me. That like I get to be happy and bubbly because I write those songs. I move like that. I let that stuff come and live through me, and I'm not ashamed to have those perspectives, because if I'm hurt, I'm hurt. Yeah. If I'm angry at like a shitty boyfriend or a shitty organizational system here in America, whatever it is I'm bitching about in a song, like I was really feeling that, and I was allowing myself to feel that. And the hope is that when people are watching me perform these songs, especially if they know how I am off stage, when they come and watch me, you know, wrap a whip around my neck and like scream into a microphone, like they're saying like, oh, I am allowed to be like that.
Yeah.
She does not care what she looks like on stage. She doesn't care that she's not being the cute, pretty, like she gets to be ugly on stage. I definitely get to be ugly out here in the audience. I definitely get to be mad about this shit too. I definitely get to feel this way too. So I really feel like it's so important for artists like you to have all the supports. Anybody that believes in artists like you to like really get behind you, to really get in on the ground level, like be part of the collective, be part of the early bandwagon, because y'all are gonna become the therapists. Like this is the only, like going to a show of a performer who's really tapped into, like they've processed their feelings, and you're hearing the like the final 3D version of that. You get to hear the sound waves that came from all of that processing. You guys are like opening up the space in your audiences to say like, this is the song where we do feel this way. And yeah, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the vibes. I can't.
I love them. I really love them.
I just do the best that I can. You know, most of the shows I do now are like cover shows, but I would say you can't really tell, right? She's shaking her head no. My sister comes to all my shows. She comes to all my shows. So I do the best that I can to like make a song my own, because for a long time I felt like,
Oh,
okay.
Oh shit! What does that mean? Are we
the
dying?
alarm. Oh no.
Stop recording anyways, because it's full.
It's full.
Okay, good. So we got her main angle, and then we got the table angle for the rest of the show. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you good.
I'm sick and tired of
What is
It is,
happening?
isn't it?
I have a 10 o'clock alarm to make sure I get in bed at 10 o'clock.
Is
and
it
I'm
10 o'clock?
speaking
It is 10
asleep.
o'clock.
I turn the alarm off and I keep it moving.
Yeah, I don't.
That's exactly what I do. I do the same thing. It was just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to get up. Just forget it. Forget about it.
I can imagine it if you're doing like cover sets, just because of the way you inflect vibes and everything that you do. Everything is so uniquely you. I figure it would like hurt your soul if you had. I'm not talking into the microphone. We're just having a cover. We're just talking like we were earlier.
Talking normally.
I think it would like hurt you in your core if you sang a song exactly how the original artist did.
Yeah, no. I had a big thing with feeling like I needed to fit into this box. And when I was first performing out, of course, you're up there, you're nervous, and you don't move, and you just stand in one spot with your hands doing whatever they're doing, which may be here or maybe down by your sides, and you know your voice is a little shaky, and you're just trying your best to sing the song the way that they sing it, and that I think adds more stress because then when you don't sing it exactly the same way, it's like, oh, I messed up here, I messed up here, I messed up here. And the thing is that if these people came to see me perform, they don't give a damn what I'm doing up here. They came to hear me sing the way that I sing.
They came and sat in the audience, said, "What you got?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
They came to hear me do what I do. And so I try my best to mix in things that people probably wouldn't think that I listen to. And I mix it in over another song that they'd be like, oh, I didn't think that these two things go together. And then I sing them the way that I'm singing. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is just a different song entirely. I don't even know what's happening right now, but I like it. I like it a lot.
I love that type. That's the type of artist I love when they take a cover and make it theirs.
Yeah.
Like, do I even know this?
Do I know?
Yeah, I've been
Is this
to.
what I thought that was?
Yeah, I've been to the Broadway and with family and requested people to do songs, give them the tip money to do a song because my uncle's like, have them do this song.
Yeah.
So my favorite part is when they do it their way, when they make it their own, and then my uncle's like, no, that's not the way. I don't care. That's what makes it special. That's what I love the most about it. I love when an artist takes a song and makes it
the
their.
way it goes.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I've been thinking of a song in my head I want to try and do, and I'm thinking about changing it up because I can't really sing. But I'm like, you know what? I'm giving myself to the end of the year to figure this shit out and try this and try and make it my way. I know the lyrics. I know how the song goes, but I want to make it my way.
Can you tell us what song? Or are you going to surprise us?
I'm going to surprise everybody.
Okay,
'cause
well,
it's been
tell us, and
changing.
then I'll edit this part out. We'll be
I'll
right
tell
back.
I'll tell you at the end of the show.
Okay.
That's a good thing though. That's a good part. I'm trying to think of one of the songs that I do that's just, and I can't right now. Of course I can't think. But it's just like when you find a way to make something completely different, and it blows the crowd is just blown away, and they're just like, oh, what is it? Oh, the Proud Mary.
Proud Mary.
Did I do that different?
You mix Proud Mary with like Pressure or something?
No. We do Pressure and Ego by Beyonce.
Well, how does that go?
Proud Mary in with that yesterday.
Did I?
I love that she's like, I don't
that's the
remember
thing.
that.
Because the thing is,
I guess we got to go to more of her shows.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to.
I get so wrapped up in the music. One, I be forgetting to get content, which is why y'all don't be seeing nothing on my Instagram. If you go, y'all don't see nothing anywhere, because I forget to get content. Usually it's just me, or I'm counting on my sister to get the content, and she's wrapped up in the show because we're both just like that. We're in the moment, and so I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing that at the end of it, when people come, they're like, "Oh yeah, when you did this and this," I was like, "Oh,
I did that.
I did this."
I understand completely.
Okay. Oh shit. I had no idea. You know, like recently I've realized that I can hit notes higher than I had thought. Okay.
Clearly.
And somebody no, like because for a long time I'm like, I'm an alto tenor cusp. I'm down here. Down, gotta be on the cusp because you gotta be on the cusp because you never know. Like I'm an alto, I can't hit those soprano notes. Yesterday, somebody came up to me after the show. He was like, "You know you a soprano, right?" I was like, "Don't tell nobody that I'm a soprano. Don't do
Please
that.
don't do that.
He was like, "No, you are a soprano. You get there and you live there. You're just there." And I'm like, that. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Just keep that under
Keep that to yourself.
under the wraps. But then I had to think. I'm like, why would I say such a thing, even jokingly? And the thing is that for a long time I thought I was not capable of doing all these things with my voice because my voice wasn't doing it then. But like anything, your voice is a muscle. It's a muscle. The more you work it, the more you train it, the more it will do for you. The more you push it, the more it'll do for you. And I hit a note, and I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then I was like, well, let me see if I can do it again. If I can do it once, maybe I can do it twice. And when I couldn't do it twice, I'm like, okay, I'll keep practicing. But then when I could do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, then just at the ready, it's like, oh, okay, wow. And then the the great thing about performing is the compliments that I get after the shows. Is there's always one every show. There's always one that's just, wow, that means so much. One guy asked me, he said, "Are you classically trained?" No. No, I'm not. He's like, and he was talking, me, I can't read music. I don't know anything about music theory, none of that. And he was like, it's just when you got there, we heard the bell tones. I'm like, what is a bell tone? What is this? And the whistles. And I'm like, only people I know that whistle is Minnie Riperton and Mariah Carey. Right. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, you know, and your tone is just so pure and all this. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. That means a lot. And one girl, she said to me, she was like, you know, you go to Broadway and you try hard to remember the people's names, but, you know, you don't really have to because they're not memorable. She's like, you're memorable. Mm-hmm. It's important to be there. You don't have to try and think about anything else because you are memorable in yourself. You don't have to think, oh, what was her name? Because you won't forget. And that means a lot to me because I'm just like, I'm just out here doing me. You know, I'm just out here doing what I can.
Yeah.
What I can, but it's like I always downplayed it, and I had difficulty accepting compliments. I didn't know how to say thank you. I didn't know how to do any of that. It was always awkward for me, and I'd always make myself smaller and shrink myself down because I'm like, oh well, I'm just singing. I'm just doing this. It's not that big a deal. It's but nothing. My sister cussed me out one day, and she was all like, take the damn compliment. Take the damn compliment. They are praising you. They're giving, take it. Like, I don't know how. Just say thank you and move on. Like, okay. But then when I did it, allowing people to praise me is important. And it's hard, especially as artists. Allowing people to praise us is difficult because we're like, oh, it's just this little thing I do. This little precious baby that I take care of. That's all it is. And it's like, no, it's not just a little thing that you do because a lot of people can't do what you do. A lot of people can't sing the way that you sing, play the way that you play, dance the way that you dance, whatever it is. A lot of people can't do that. And when
people wish they could get up in front of anybody and do anything.
Yeah. Exactly. So when they praise you for it, it really is a sign of respect because it's like, damn, I wish I could do it and you up here doing it for me. Thank you. It's one of those things and you should always accept that gratitude. Always, because it's just like somebody, you really touch somebody. If they have the gall to come to you, you'd be like, you know, I really just appreciate this and what you've done. Accept that. Don't feel bad about it. That is God, the universe, whatever you like to call it, working through you and connecting to your fellow man and connecting to your other people. And that is a sign that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, exactly where you're supposed to be doing, exactly when you're supposed to be doing it, exactly how you're supposed to be doing it. Every single time somebody has the time, takes the time out to tell you thank you for just doing what it is that you do. That's God reminding you. You're doing right.
On the right path.
Because we're just like, God, am I doing it right? Am I supposed to be here? And then somebody comes, oh my God, you were so great. Oh, no. I don't know if this is, if you ask God and he says, here, I'll send you somebody to remind you. And you just brushing it off like, no, that's not it. But then, God, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Somebody else, oh my God, you're just so amazing. I can't believe that you did this. Oh no, it's nothing. I'm not that great. What sense does that make? Accept the compliment, accept that confirmation, accept that validation because you've asked for it. And when God delivers on it, accept it because it's what you asked for. You asked to know.
I think it's so like it is an especially interesting thing for creatives too because we talked a little bit earlier about going through the storms and remembering that like you always come out okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's hard to get to that place because while you're trying to survive, when things work out, you don't credit it to like, oh, this is things being okay. Mm-hmm. You credit it to like, oh, I got lucky that time. But it's like
you keep getting lucky.
You keep getting saved and keep getting saved and keep getting saved. But it's like, oh, so like all the worrying paid off. Let me keep worrying. But
it's
that
the
compliments, this is something I tell Joffin all the time. Like, accept that energy. Like, accept that feedback. Like, if this is what you wanted, and we all grew up, be humble, be humble, be humble. Hearing that and like, I know, like, one thing that echoes through my head still to this day sometimes, I'll be scared to do something or scared to say something because in my head there's like this faint echo of, who do you think you are? Which I totally got from my mom when I was little. I was all like, who do you think you are? Like this little kid with all these ideas and trying to communicate to these adults who think like, I'm a little kid, I should just shut up. We don't need help with the parenting. We don't need help with the teaching. Like, who do you think you are? The teacher, the parent? Like, who are you? I'm somebody with a lot of ideas about how shit can be better. So like, I wrestle with that. Like, oh, it comes back to that humility thing. Like, oh, you know, like you'll have your time to shine. Yeah. This isn't your place. There are people here more talented than you. There are people here who've been working harder, been working longer than you. Who do you think you are?
And that's
to act like
thing.
you're one of them.
That's not a good attitude.
But when you accept the compliment, it turns into like just this, again, just that opening of the energy. Like, oh, I am here. This is my time. This is my spot. I am the only person who can do this like I do, and that's why they're telling me this. Good. That's more fuel for me to do. Like now I have more accountability to you, the audience, because I'm getting the feedback that this is actually valuable to you.
Exactly.
So now, like I'm not going to be humble with my work about it. I'm not going to be humble with what I think I can do next. I'm not going to be humble at all in those respects. But the humility comes from because and again, not all artists are going to get this because they're not all doing it the right way. But when it's something that, like, when you say, like, oh, this is just me doing my thing, it has to be just your thing. But that's what makes it so big and so important. Because if it didn't come naturally to you, there's no way you could ever own that.
Right.
But when you're literally just doing what your heart is telling you to do, and then you get that feedback from the universe, that feedback from God's messengers, and you accept it, then you can really like vibe on the fact that, oh yeah, this is me being myself, and like I actually deserve a spot here doing this because I am myself. So the humility comes with realizing everybody has access to this. People are seeing me getting compliments, wishing like, you know, who does she think she is? She wasn't the best singer of the night or whatever it is. Like you don't even have to have like that chatter going on in your head. There's no like, oh, I have to shrink myself right now in this moment, because you've seen it for yourself. If you can be yourself, you'll get the compliments. If you can be yourself, you'll be doing the amazing art. If you can be yourself, you ain't gonna be worried about me over here being myself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so much more. It's when you can genuinely accept the compliment. Some people do that. Thank you, but they feel so uncomfortable, and you can tell. It's like, ooh, I don't want to make you
it
shy.
goes back to what we had mentioned this briefly before we had started recording, the puzzle pieces, you know. And the funny thing about people thinking, oh, I have to fit in, I have to fit in, I have to fit in, but I have to be like everybody else to fit in. But if life is like a puzzle and you are a puzzle piece, you are individually and uniquely made, specifically exactly the way that you are. And there may be some that kind of look like you, but they don't fit in your spot.
Your
When
B.
you try to, exactly, like
Finding your B.
it's just you. And fitting in actuality requires you to be yourself, because then you fit into the space that was cut out for you. And so it's like, who do you think you are? I'm me, because God made me this way. That's who I think I am. I think that I am who God made me. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Who are you? I know who I am. I know what I'm doing over here. What you doing? And what does it have to do with me over here doing what I'm doing? So it's important to understand that fitting in doesn't always require you to cut your edges, to cut your... You have a spot that was made specifically for you, that was shaped and carved specifically for you. And simply by doing what it is that comes naturally to you and what makes you happy and what brings you joy, brings you closer and closer to fitting into that spot. It's okay in other places you'll feel like, oh, I'm the only one, I don't fit here, I don't belong here, nobody's like me. But then slowly but surely, as you continue to be yourself, you find the people that are like you, and the people that do the things that you do, and the people that don't think that you're weird for whatever thing that you do. And it's like, oh, wow, I fit somewhere. Even if it's just with me, you fit somewhere.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this off camera. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
we're over
It was
here.
off camera.
So can
Yeah.
you tell the folk, now that we're on camera, about the sometimes you gotta be the only one?
Yes. So I was telling Keita off camera, like, YouTube does this suggestion thing, because I've been in this self-discovery stage. And so now my algorithm has been suggesting things to me that help me to discover more rather than prank videos and stupid shit that I don't watch. So, so there was a sermon by Sarah Jakes, and I was like, oh, okay, it keeps showing up, so let me go ahead and click on it. I'll watch it and see what it's saying. So I'm like, okay, what is she saying? And she was saying a few different things. She was talking about how Jesus resurrected Nazareth. I remembered after sitting there. She was talking about how Jesus resurrected Nazareth and how Nazareth didn't fit anywhere because he had experienced something that nobody else had experienced. He had died and been brought back. And the rest of these people had never experienced death. They didn't understand that thing. And so he felt very lonely going back into the cities and going back home to his family and going back into these places where he used to be. But the thing is that it was necessary for him to be the only one because he had a different perspective. He had a different outlook. He had a different understanding. He had a different understanding of who God was. He had a different understanding of who he was. He had a different understanding of how life should operate.
Whole different testimony.
And the thing is that sometimes you do have to be the only one. You have to be the only one in a space that understands. You have to be the only one that cares sometimes. You have to be the only one that's working hard to get stuff done. Sometimes you'll feel like you are by your damn self. And the thing is that it's necessary. It's necessary because your perspective is completely different from those around you. And then what happens is that later on you will find that those things that you needed before, you were the only one. When you thought that, oh, I need people to be able to make it. Oh, I need your support to be able to get through. Oh, I need this, and this. When it's just you by yourself doing it all yourself, you're like, oh, well, shit, I don't need nobody. And it's like, I can do more than I thought that I could. And your perspective changes. And you begin to have more faith in yourself. And you begin to have more faith in the process because you understand, even though I'm by myself, I'm all right. I'm okay. And I have an advantage because these people that are over here collectively together doing whatever they're doing don't understand where I'm going. They don't understand how to get to where I'm going. And they'll be looking at you like, well, how'd you get over there? And how do we get over there? You got to figure it out yourself. I had to go through some things. I had to cry by myself. I had to work by myself. I had to sweat by myself. I had to do all of these things to learn who I was so that I could better understand where I was going. And it takes that. It takes solitude sometimes. It takes isolation sometimes. It takes you feeling alone in a room full of people to really get that you are strong enough to handle the things that you think you're not strong enough to handle. You're big enough to take on the things that you think are bigger than you. You are heavy enough to stand on top of the things that you think are weighing you down. All of these things is just to show you sometimes you're the only one because it's you. And you take you wherever you go. And you change the atmosphere of every place and every space that you're in. And you change the energy of every place that you go because it's slightly different just because you're there. And you don't know who you're going to touch when you're there. And you don't know who's going to live from things that you've experienced that you're able to say, oh, well, yeah, no, don't worry about that. It gets better. It's fine. You're stressed about it right now. It's not as big as you think. It gets better. It's fine.
It's so interesting that you remember the Lazarus thing because that was not mentioned before, but like I remember that story well, and I've never heard quite that perspective on it. It's a story I remember going over again and again and again, but it was always from the perspective of the testimony of the witnesses of his resurrection, but not necessarily like we never really touched on Lazarus's testimony for what he himself went through. A bunch of people saw him go through it. They'll never have the same testimony as the person who went through it, the only person who went through it. So yeah, beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful.
Man, I'm just happy now. I went from being in a place where I made myself small for people. Don't make yourself small for people. Don't make yourself small for people ever. Don't make yourself small for no man, no woman, nobody. Don't do it because I went through this phase. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die alone. oh, I'm gonna die alone. Let me just take the first man that
Yeah.
shows enough interest and seems to be nice and seems to be okay.
This one likes
And
me.
this'll work. This is fine. I think I can do this forever. But the thing is that when God has a different path for you and He is giving you all of this light, a lot of the times you meet people who see your light, and there are people who just want to live in your light. They don't have no light of their own. They in the dark. They just want to live in your light. There are some people who no, it's fine.
That's one of them light suckers over there.
But there are also some people who see your light, and they want to have that light for themselves. And so they try to take that light and they put that light in a jar. And they take that jar and they put it in a closet on the shelf in the furthest corner in the back, where they can come and look at it every now and again.
Don't want to share.
But they don't want to share it with anybody else because now that thing is mine. I have that shiny thing that y'all were all looking at before. But the thing is that this joy that I have, the world did not give it to me. The world did not give it, and the world cannot take it away. And what you're not going to do is take it from me and put it in a jar and put it on a damn shelf in the closet, because that's not where it was intended to be. My light was intended to shine from me, big and bright and luminous. And if you can't see, you better put some damn shades on and get out the way. Because there are also people who see your light and they enjoy your light. And your light ignites the light in them, and they start to shine too. And those are the type of people that you find once you're living as you are. Those are the type of people that you find surrounding themselves, surrounding yourself. Because now it's just light, 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 light. Everything's just bright as hell.
Yeah.
We can see everything over here.
Yes.
But I made myself small for people who saw how bright my light was when I couldn't see how bright it was. They used my light to light their way. They used my light to light their darkness. They used my light and put it in a jar and tried to hide it from the world. And then when I started to realize it was dark in here. And so I start to shine brighter and brighter and brighter, and that intimidates them. Because when they met me, I wasn't aware of how brightly I could shine. And it's just like, why you acting different all of a sudden? I'm not acting different all of a sudden. I'm acting like me now.
There you
I
go.
wasn't me when I met you. I wasn't big when I met you. I wasn't bright when I met you. I'm acting like I know who the fuck I am now. That's who I'm acting like. And the thing is that it feels good to be able to stretch out and grow, and understanding that you can't take everybody with you, and understanding that everybody's not going to be able to come, and everybody's not going to understand, and people that you have spent so much time with and have loved, you guys were brought together because you needed something from each other at that time. And once you've gotten that thing, this is what I noticed. Once you get that thing, once you learn the lesson, then all of a sudden shit just starts falling apart. And you're like, God, what's happening?
Yeah.
And the thing is that that's your message. It's like God saying, okay, you did what I need you to do. It's time for you to move on.
Move on.
It's
and
like,
learn.
but I'm scared. How am I gonna? Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yep.
And if you scared, do it scared.
Yeah.
Do it scared. Do
Yep.
it anyway. Do it scared. Go on anyway, cause I got you. Have I let you down there? Well, no. Okay. Well, come on. Let's go. That's how God talks to me. God talks to me like I'm His child for real.
I'm really God's child. I've been hearing
I
it.
understand
Come
that
on,
completely.
yeah. Do what I
It's so
told
funny.
you to
Don't
do.
be scared is like one of the mottos in here. I don't remember who said it first, but it just be.
Yeah.
It was during
be
one of the
scared.
interviews. Like it just came out and it just stuck. Like don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be
Don't be
scared.
Don't be scared.
I used to be scared all the time, and that just stuck with me. Seeing those "ain't scared" stickers on cars, and put little posted notes saying "learn to spell." I finally realized I don't need to be scared, and it's just life. Don't be scared of it. Make it.
I think
Make
if people could see, if again, it comes back to like find your own journey, really
Find
tap
it.
into what your heart wants and start walking that path. Because once you get on that path, like there are no plan Bs. Even if like I know, even if I have to work a day job the rest of my life, you cannot tell me I didn't make it, because I will be on my deathbed still. Even if I can't speak, you better believe if I look like I am brain dead on the table, trust, if my heart is still beating, somewhere deep down in here, out in the ethers, I'm still writing songs in my head.
Yeah.
Like, still. You'll never be able to tell me I didn't make it. I'm making it now because, like, that's just what I know I want to do. So when people can find that, like, it gets easier and easier over time to, like, you get to those points where it's like people want to fall away, situations want to fall away. And we know, we've talked about it like so many times in the studio, when you go through something where it's like, I did all the planning, I did everything right, why is this happening? That's a good question. You did everything right, and so now this is not working for you. You need to go do right somewhere else where the right things will keep working out. And so, like, when you're on, like, your unique path, you get to see very quickly, because you evolve so quickly. It'd be like, what just happened? I thought, like, this opportunity or this contract or this, this show I had coming up, or these friends that, like, I've been doing shows with, whatever, shit will just kind of fall apart. And it's like, I did everything. Did I say something to offend them? Did I not dot my I's and cross my T's on that contract? You'd be thinking, like, I did everything right. How did that fall apart? Well, ding, ding, ding. Because it wasn't fit for somebody who was doing your kind of right for what you're trying to do. Like, so you really kind of, like, you get to a point where you don't have a choice but to, like you do it scared. Yeah. People who are really, truly on their path, they know, like, you might go through some hell before you admit to yourself, like, oh, these are opportunities to level up every time. Before you get to that realization, you're doing it scared. You're like, okay, well, this fell apart, but I have to keep going. Yeah. So, like, the relationship getting involved, like, I was about to talk about some personal shit, but I don't know if my stalker watches this show. No. But you, like, even, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. I had, like, the last boyfriend, like, I was the coolest ex-girlfriend ever and still getting treated like shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying to be so cool right now. And then it dawned on me, like, because it wasn't even about the relationship. It legit was about the energies around me. This ain't about being his ex-girlfriend. This is about, it's time, like, the end of the relationship should have been the, like, girl, it's time to move on. But then, like, the continuous shitty treatment, it was like, why? I'm being so nice. I'm being so cool with everything. Like, why? Oh, because he doesn't fit where I'm going with, like, this niceness, this like really wanting to be cool and peaceful and be mature and have these open communicative relationships with everybody in my life, whether we're dating or we're just exes and we're trying to be friends. That's not for that person. That person was to get me to that point where I could realize, like, oh, no matter what shit you throw at me, like, this is who I am. I can respect myself, and I'm not going to feel bad, because I have, like, gotten to where I can honestly say I was doing everything right. As far as, like, what right feels like for me, I really was doing my best. This isn't part of my best anymore. Like, I got to this level where, like, I'm really proud of what my best is. And I can honestly say I did nothing wrong here. So it was just having to realize, like, that's the lesson. That's the lesson. Like, it's not so much like, how do I fix this situation? How do I change myself? The lesson is like, oh, I can't change myself until I take that step, and you do it scared. Like, what are people gonna say about me if I stop fucking with this person? What are people gonna say about me if if we kick this person out of our band? What are people gonna say about me if I don't work with this venue no more? Like, all this stuff. But, like, when you're on your own unique path, you don't have any other choice but to take those steps, because you cannot move forward on your path unless you let go of you let them fade away. You want to exit my life? Fine, go. Be gone, because even if you want to hang on to those things, you're still not giving up on your path, because it hurts to not be moving forward. It hurts. It palpably, very, like, sometimes even physically hurts to sit there and think about what you could be doing. Meanwhile, your energy's wrapped up in these things that you can't seem to fucking fix, no matter how much positive energy you give them. So that becomes a lesson. How quickly can you notice when it's time to shift? And how, and then you realize it's not even about, like, letting the things go. It's just about recognizing, like, oh, I've evolved past this. I'm ready for the next thing. But the next thing cannot come in until you let go of the old thing. And there's so many of us that can't, like, and, you know, it's a spectrum. Like, just because you can do it one day doesn't mean you can do it with the next situation. Sometimes it takes going through a situation over and over and over again before you get that, oh, it's because I'm supposed to leave this situation. And I get it now. But I think it's so important for artists to hear, like, when you are like 100% on your journey, you really have to have faith because there's so much power. It speeds up your path. It speeds up the walk down that path so much too when you learn like, I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep exploring what I can do in this realm. And it's going to continuously lead me to new worlds, new doors to open. So yeah, there are going to be new faces. There are going to be new situations. There are going to be new energies. There are going to be things I never did before. But those things cannot come in if I'm still doing the same shit with the same people.
Yeah.
And what I found was, because on my end of things, I had to realize and be honest with myself that I was the problem. Because I was. I was. In a lot of the previous relationships, they were definitely the problem, but I allowed them to perpetuate these things. And so it was a whole thing of living in a space of desperation and of lack, and I just need to take what I can get, because there was always the thing of I was always the darkest girl in my friend group, and the boys always liked the light-skinned girls over me. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm not pretty enough. I'll just be funny. Like, I'll just be this, and this. But it's fine because I became a well-rounded person. And I'm fine. So it's so that was one of the things. But then a lot of that old baggage from those past relationships, what you realize is that sometimes people bring bags and they drop them off with you. So you carrying around bags that don't even belong to you. You carrying around shit that's not even yours. And in this,
you gotta learn to drop it.
This current relationship, things are changing, and I feel them changing. And it's just because being with him, he was different than the others. He was nice. You know, he let me cry when I needed to cry. It was a whole thing. But I'm coming to a point where I'm like, I feel like I need to do something else. I feel like I need to move. I feel like I need to do something else. But before I got to this point, I realized, I'm like, well, everything was so good for up until this point. What happened? And it's like, I realized, one, I was the problem in a lot of things. I lied, I cheated, I did a lot of things. And I had to be honest, because I was at a point where I'm just like, oh, no, I'm not that bad, because I pray, and I just, if he didn't find out, it'll be fine. And it was just a lot of things. And God was like, no, girl, no, no. So what we're going to do is that all of this is going to come out. You know, it's all just going to, it's just going to come out. And that's just what it's going to be. You're going to be honest. You're going to be truthful. You're going to be real. And whatever happens after that. But you cannot keep lying to you and lying to yourself, saying, oh, no, I have never in my life. I've been cheated on, and but I have never done anything wrong. And I can't say that, because I was definitely Dennis the Menace. I was definitely the devil. I was definitely not the nicest at times. I was definitely hateful, conniving, sneaky, all of those things. But it was turning the mirror on me so that I could see, oh yeah, you was fucking up this whole time. And you were doing all of this stuff because you had to develop toxic traits and toxic tendencies to stay in the relationships that you were in, because you were desperate to be chosen by some man that he ain't got no money, he ain't got no car.
He's living at his mama's house.
Right. He doesn't have anything to add to you. He's not adding to you. He's taking from you, and he's causing you to diminish your light and throwing dirt and all of that on you. And being with this person that I'm with now, I've gotten to see that I don't have to live in a space of desperation anymore. I don't think that I'm going to be with this person forever, and that's okay. But it comes to a thing of, oh, we've spent so much time together, and we've gotten to know each other, and we've loved each other, and all of this. Why is it not working? Why does it feel like we're forcing shit together? And it's just because coming to the realization that it was me, and it's better just to be real and to be honest and say, you know what, I was fucking up. It's fine. But God loves me, and I love me. And learning to love me for real, it filled a space that nobody else could fill. And so now I'm out here and I'm singing my heart out because I'm like, yes, I sound so good. And the crowd is responding well. And I love the way that I feel. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't love the way that I feel. And I'm crying and I'm just, what is this life? But it's just like, it's life. And it keeps going either way. Trees keep growing. As long as there's water in the ground and dirt and all, trees keep growing upward and downward, inward and outward. It's just a constant thing. And so I had to stop beating myself up about, oh, well, I agreed to this contract with this person and I thought that this would be a thing that would be forever. And now it feels like it may not be. And I feel guilty for that because I'm finding that doing what I love is making me happy. And going where I want to go is making me happy. And I'm doing stuff that's making me happy. And I can't find where that person fits in all of that. And I feel bad. And
That's
I
some real shit.
feel guilty. And I feel so wrong for wanting to be happy in this way because I know that it's not going to make them happy. And I love them. But I love them enough to be able to say, I can't make you happy like this. I am stunting your growth. And you're stunting my growth. And I love you enough to say, you will be better, I promise, after it's all said and done. You will be better, we will be better apart than we are together. And that's the hardest shit to really come to. Because it's just like, I've never chosen me before.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be chosen. I've always been in that, oh, pick me type thing. And it's like, but I pick me now. And I'm like, oh, this is way better. This is way better. And it comes to your artistry too. When you pick you, it's way better. And the people that need to be there, the people that love it, the people that they're just like super diehard fans, they find you. You become magnetized. They find you. And that's the magical part about it all.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, since all the cameras are dead.
On that note, gotta thank you so much for coming in and being a part of here.
Do you have any parting words? Because like this is one of those interviews that's very. I like when we have the single artist because then we get to really dig into like their process, their mental, and like all the energy that's coming through the speakers. Like what is that energy? What is it made up of? And so like it's a rare treat where we get to talk to someone like this, especially talking about vibes and taking care of yourself and self-love and all that stuff. We love it. So not only for our musician friends who watch the show, but for anybody else who may have just stumbled upon this on YouTube, like what's something that folks can just walk away from, especially walk away from after they've listened to your music?
They can walk away from my music knowing that faith will bring them prosperity. Like at the end of the day, having faith is one of the hardest things, but it is the most rewarding because that first step is the hardest. That mustard seed is the smallest. It's the most difficult. But then all you got to do is take the step. Yep. You take the step and you realize, oh, I can take another step after this and another one. Well, shit didn't fall apart yet. I'm still going. Things are they're still going. And you just keep going. Just have faith in yourself and have faith in knowing that it's going to work out if you believe it will.
Yep.
Amen.
Amen.
This is such a great interview.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the performance. It's amazing. I can't wait till the next time you can come up. We definitely got to try and make it after on a Thursday night. Take my mama with me.
Yeah, that would be a good little family trip, little HGS family trip. Yeah.
Find out. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you made it through the whole thing because if you didn't, you missed out on some good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit tonight. Coming up is Nakessa's performance. Y'all are going to love it. It's amazing. Anything else?
Stay tuned for the commercial.
Hey, what's up? This is Miranda from LS Music Promotions. LS Music Promotions is a concert promoter and booking agency from Owensboro, Kentucky. We put on concerts, help bands with show booking, and work with venues to remain full of talent. Our goal is to help grow the local music scene and to support musicians. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube, LS Music Promo, to stay up to date with us. Together, we rock.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Nakessa. I think this is like my third time, fourth, 18th time here, something, something like that. I've been a couple of times. Currently, I'm just living free, singing my songs wherever I can sing my songs. So this first song that I'm gonna start with, so I like to do, as of late, I like to tell a story. So if y'all can follow along with me through this rocky relationship, is basically what it's going to end up being, is a rocky ass relationship. So the first song is, what is the first song? Okay, so the first song is Blue. And basically it's just a song about kind of loving somebody from a distance and trying to, because you've got what they need, but they make real bad decisions. They just don't make the right choices. You're obviously the right choice, and they just don't make the right choices. So we're gonna start with that. Listening to Sir, chasing summer. Unlock my phone and I pull up your number. Maybe there's a better way. Say what I'm about to say. I just gotta make it plain. But how do I spare myself the pain? I'm longing to deal with you, keep it real with you. I feel for you, wanna chill with you again. Maybe be a friend, but then again, if I'm telling the truth, your clouds were too thick to see the stars through. But I still see the blue in you. I can turn your gray sky blue. If you let me, I can show you something new. If you bet me a couple $100 and your heart, we turn this love into a work of art, yeah. When you get on my mind like this, I don't know how to behave. Find myself in a daze, wishing the storm would rage. Skies are so gray, and all I can say, I want the lightning, the thunder, the wind, the storm, and the rain. That's what I'm longing for, and that's what I'm calling for. Want it all. Wish you would call like you used to. Wish we could talk like we used to. Have us a ball like we used to. But that's what I was used to, being used to. But I can turn your gray sky blue. If you let me, I can show you something new. If you bet me a couple $100 and your heart, we turn this love into a work of art, yeah. I can turn your gray sky blue. If you let me, I can show you something new. If you bet me a couple $100 and your heart. Okay, so the next song is called Obsession. And basically, it's going to interrupt, but basically it's just about being obsessed with somebody. And that's it, you know, you just crazy as hell over somebody. Since the night I met you, you've been my obsession, baby. Gotta get next to you again or it's gonna drive me crazy. Since the night I met you, you've been my obsession, baby. I gotta get next to you again or it's gonna drive me crazy. Separation's driving me right up the wall. And I'm so high up, baby, won't you catch me, don't you let me fall. Cause I've been lost in my thoughts for too long. Now I done wrote you a song, baby, tell me what it's gonna be. And I keep calling your phone, I just can't let you alone. Baby, come and see about me. Cause since the night I met you, you've been my obsession, baby. I gotta get next to you again or it's gonna drive me crazy. Since the night I met you, you've been my obsession. I just wanna taste you. You're the sweetest, honey, won't you come on over, let me know that it's real. I've been obsessing, it's time we address it. The way you got me feeling so reckless. You put you on my necklace so I can take you everywhere I go. Right here in my heart, I keep you close. You got it beating out my chest and swear that loving you has been a blessing. Kissing, loving, hugging and caressing, yeah. Right here in the moment, keep you froze. You helped me heal my heart when it was broke. I've been obsessing, baby. Fuck all that stressing lately, baby. You've been on my mind like crazy. So in love with you, it's amazing. Everything you do, everything you say, I wanna be about it. Every place you go, every place you play, I wanna see about it. You got me feeling types of ways I only dreamed about. You got me feeling types of ways. Everything you do, everything you say, I wanna be about it. Every place you go, every place you play, I wanna be about it. You got me feeling types of ways I only dreamed about it. You got me feeling types of ways. Since the night I met you, you've been my obsession, baby. I gotta get next to you again or it's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, so this is a song about cheating. Just simple, plain, it's a song about cheating, being the other person. So what you trying to say, you know I'm trying to live right. But every time his girl go out of town, he always hits my line. Now what am I supposed to do? Cause damn, that boy's so fine. I'd have to be some kind of crazy fool to ever turn him down. Oh, how silly of me to think he would ever change. While he's laid up in the bed with me, he promised her a ring. How silly of me to let a man treat me this way. But it's something about the way it feels when he's calling my name. Now, I know you're judging me, but please believe I understand it's wrong. I can admit I didn't think things would continue on this long. But now that they have, I can't even fathom how I would let him go. Even if I could, I don't think I would even let him know. How silly of me to think he would ever change. While he's laid up in the bed with me, he promised her a ring. How silly of me to let a man treat me this way. But it's something about the way it feels when he's calling my name. Okay, so I thought about it. paying no bills. He leaving every light on in the house. He eating up all the food in the refrigerator. I think I need to cut him off. I'll leave him alone, I promise. I'll leave him alone, I promise. Promise that I'll let him go. One day I'll leave him alone. I'll leave him alone, I promise. Promise that I'll let him go. One day I'll leave him alone. Oh wait, this. Hello? No, you can't come over tonight. I ain't got time. What you mean I always say that? Well, I mean it this time, damn. Matter of fact, slide my key in the mailbox. Here we are again, going round and round and round and round in these circles. Can you tell me, baby, what it's worth? And I don't think you comprehend. Maybe you should leave me, go be free, ride around with your little girlfriend. Oh, your wife. I'm sorry. 'Cause see, I'd rather be alone than play second place to a nigga that don't recognize my face, or when he see me in the grocery store. Oh, you gonna act like you don't know me? Okay. See, I'd rather be alone than play second fiddle way back in the middle of a band that don't need a violin. No way. He said, hey, diddle diddle, you don't say. Oh yeah, I'd rather be alone, living free, doing me the way that God intended me. Why won't you just let me be? Why won't you just set me free? Okay, so now that we've cheated, we've broken up with our lover. We've broken up with our lover, and at this point, it's like, you know, you're going home and you're talking to your main squeeze now. And of course, things have been kind of off, and this is just a song about this. This song is called Ice Cream. It sounds like it should be a happy song, but it ain't. So here we go. You've been so cold lately, should've seen it all along. Maybe I'm going about this thing the wrong way. Should I expel my hopes for better days? I can feel you missing me. Am I crazy? You've been on my mind heavy lately. Am I supposed to play the fool, reminiscing, or do you really miss me too? Am I tripping? You're cold as ice. Is your heart freezing over? You're cold as ice. Felt your heart growing colder, so I scream. You scream, cussing and fighting. How can something so sweet be so bitter too? I think the hardest part of us is letting go of what was. I think the hardest part of us is moving on. How will we ever decide? Oh, to soften up the blows. How do you tell a broken heart just to simply let go? You're cold as ice. Is your heart freezing over? You're cold as ice. Felt your heart growing colder, so I scream. You scream, cussing and fighting. How can something so sweet be so bitter too? All right. So we're cussing and fighting. You know, people get really out of line when they're fighting with one another, and they say some things. And I don't know about y'all, but most of the time, most of the relationships I've had have been complete and utter trash. And it's a person who's coming into the relationship with absolutely nothing, and they're leeching off of me and feeding off of my energy and eating up all the food in my fridge. So this is just kind of one of those songs to kind of put that person back in their place. I actually wrote this song for a friend, and she had decided that she was going to date one of my ex-boyfriends, and she was just like, I just want you to be okay with it. And I'm like, girl, he for the streets anyway, so go right ahead. If you know, if I wasn't example enough for you, go right ahead. And so when they broke up, she was just really like, she was just a mess, and she was like, I just feel so broken. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna write you an anthem. We'll get it together. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So this song is called Remember Me. Now remember, this person is broke as hell. You had nothing when you met me, and you'll have even less when I leave. So you can stop the crying begging, cause this what you wanted, so I'll set you free. Ain't no going back for you now. Ain't no turning back for us now. Keep that same energy when you see me whipping Lambos of the Benz. And don't be trying to use my name when you stuck outside the club and you can't get in. Ain't no going back for you now. Ain't no turning back for us now. I'ma make sure you remember me, even after you become just a memory. Said I'ma make sure you remember me, even after you become just a memory. So tell me what you got to offer. Looking at your track record, baby, it's awful. Best I ever had. Shit, you need to stop it. You must have lost it, cause you out of pocket. Manipulative and a liar. I got to tell you, but and being broke, it gets old and it's tired. Baby, you trash, it's time you retire. You going on saying all this is my fault. Oh yeah, that's funny, but we both know that it's all talk. I'm in my own whip, you drive your mom's car. I'm in my own crib, you're at your mom's house. But keep that same energy when you see me whipping Lambos of the Benz. And don't be trying to use my name when you stuck outside the club and you can't get in. Ain't no going back for you now. Ain't no turning back for us now. I'ma make sure you remember me. This is my favorite part. Just a memory. Where did you think this would go? Who did you think you would be? Cause you wasn't shit when I came, but I planted you like a seed. Why did I think you would grow? Who did I think you would be? Cause you wasn't shit when I came, and you ain't gonna be shit when I leave. Okay, and now we got to talk to God, right? Because we're lonely and we're sad. We're sad and we're broken and we're soul searching. So this one is always a crowd favorite. I know it's Keita's favorite. So they say the gift of God is eternal life, but you hate your mother and abuse your wife. Then hateful comments to your children are internalized. But the key to your healing lives behind their eyes. What you need is healing, revealing. Stop running away from feeling. Pause for a moment, be still in the truth of the light that's within. One thing's for certain, life can do some things to make you cold, yeah. You gotta learn to be the river and not the stone. You can be oh so great if you just sit and wait. Be still and know. Oh, be still and know. After a heavy rain, you know that the seed still needs some dirt to grow. Listen. What you give is what you get back. You don't need a whole lot for that. You can always make up for what you lack. Giving love is how you do that. A simple smile, a kiss, a hug. It's something about the human touch. The electricity connecting us. It's a divine gift from the God above. We all have this feeling, revealing something inside needs healing. If we pause for a moment, be still, then the truth of the light is within. One thing's for certain, life will do some things to make you cold. Yeah, you gotta learn to be the river and not the stone. You can be oh so great if you just sit and wait, be still and know. Oh, after a heavy rain, you know that the sea still needs some dirt to grow. Yes, after a heavy rain, you know that the sea still needs some dirt to grow. So be still and know. And then last, I have a new song that's coming out at the end of the month. It's coming out on, I don't know when y'all gonna air this, but it's coming out on July the 31st. So if it's already out, go listen to it. If it's not already out, then pre-save and all this. This is a song I did with my good friend Brian Sauer. The name of the song is called Grace, because you know how I love to just receive messages from God and put them into my music. So this song is just, it seems to be the sign of the times. We all need to give ourselves a little bit of grace, and we all need to just be patient and not get so frustrated when things don't go the way that we think that they should go. And we should kind of just relax a bit and give ourselves a moment. So that's what this song is about. I'm gonna see if I can remember Brian's part. He starts the song off, but if not, I'll just sing mine and y'all can listen to it later on. Also, fun fact, the beat that I'm singing it over, it was actually rearranged, so the song may not sound the same when you hear it, but it'll be just as good. Just as good. Yeah, this is a Home Studios exclusive. Cue the horns. Okay. So here we go. And this has never been performed live either, so. See, it's a daily struggle, getting up to get to that hustle. And it can be hard to juggle what needs a soft hand and what needs muscle. But just trust your gut, and you'll find your feet on the ground. Just trust your heart, and the love will come back around. We seem to forget we ain't on our own, but when you're the therapist, it's easy to feel alone. So take the time you give to everyone else and realize that you get what you give yourself. Gon' give yourself grace, offer yourself a little space. It's okay to drop the pace every once in a while and give what you can take. 'Cause when you give yourself grace, you're not losing the race. You might fall behind, but you'll find in time you're in the right place. You give yourself grace. It's hard for the moment, but it gets easy by the day. As long as you remember, yeah, that the day is what you make. You're carrying the world on your shoulders. I see you getting tired, hard to hold up. Baby, slow it down, take the load off. Feel the sunshine, why don't you seem to forget we ain't on our own? But when you're the therapist, it's easy to feel alone. So take the time you give to everyone else and realize that you get what you give yourself. Gon' give yourself grace. Offer yourself a little space. It's okay to drop the pace every once in a while and give what you can take. 'Cause when you give yourself grace, you're not losing the race. Yeah, you might fall behind, but you'll find in time you're in the right place. So give yourself grace. And that's it. All right. So that's all for me.
Apparently that part on
I don't think I got it.
I definitely nailed that.
Tina Marie does. And one of Portuguese say I am, baby, I am.
Baby, I Portuguese say love. Won't you say it to me, say you love me, baby.
Portugal.
That's what she says. Portugal.
On a stormy winter night in Portugal.
James Brown. Anyone brave enough to...
Ain't going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me.
Yeah.
Welcome to the sing-along hour. HGS. No, it's your turn. We were over here singing to check the mics
Oh
out.
no.
It's a shame that I don't know the words of these songs. And I should know.
Okay, all of these songs.
Oh great.
All of them.
Hello everybody. Welcome to Homemade God Studios.